Hello everybody, welcome back to European Autocraft Studios. Finally, 308 on the lift, but now that it's taken so long to get this car on the lift and get this engine out, we have a crunch time now. This has to be done by the second week in November. So we really got to hustle on this thing and get it done. It's not going to stop the quality, but it's going to make us move a lot faster. We've got some non-copyright music playing in the background and it's horrible, but we do want to listen to something while we're working, so maybe you can hear, maybe you can't, doesn't really matter, but it's there. So let's take a look now. We finally got this thing in the shop. We're going to drain the oil, drain the gear oil, get some parts out from under the engine compartment. Then we got to remove the lid so we can pull the engine up out of the top. So let's go take a look at what we got to do back there, and I'm going to show you some stuff I really like about this car. So come on back here. All right, the business end of the 308. What we talked about before with our CIS fuel injection, this is the type of fuel distributor that you would find on the Mercedes V8s or even the 911 Turbo, which is, it draws the air down through. The air cleaner attaches at the top. The throttle plate here pulls from the bottom, the sealed unit. So the sensor plate gets pulled down to push the piston up rather than pull up to pull the valve up. But look at this. It's a relatively low mileage car. It's got about 25,000 miles on it. Original hose clamps, which I like. These are old Cheney hose clamps. A lot of the hoses are still original. We're going to change most of them, not all of them. The routing is still correct for the CIS fuel lines. They haven't been modified or changed. Even the clips that hold it all in are still there. So that's really nice. This car hasn't been touched. But we're going to pull the engine out. We're going to use our new wet blasting machine, which we're going to show you later. All functioning, working well. We got the right media. Pressures are good. The pump is good. The electric's good. I still got to work on the hoses, but everything else is fine. Promise. And we're going to clean the valve covers and intake manifold. We're going to repaint this with the wrinkle black, and everything's going to get replaced. All the hoses, things like that. Valve adjustment. I'll show you how we do a valve adjustment on a 308. And these crazy valve covers, where you have to cut the valve cover and put sealer on all the joints. It's not hard, but it's a little more difficult to do with the engine in the car. Which we've done many times. The valve adjustment on that rear head is tricky. So we'll show you all that. Timing belt replacement, bearings. We're going to pull the front cover, replace the bearings for the drive shafts that come out of the engine that drive the cam belts. Clutch, we have to put a clutch in it. We'll show you how the drop gears work for the power transmission from the engine to the actual transmission. So right now, we're going to start by draining some fluids. We'll get the oil and the gear oil out of it and see if we find any chunks. Chunks aren't good, but we'll take a look. All right, we're going to go up and start draining the oil. Our trusty, nasty drain bucket. So 2 drain plugs. Olio motore and olio cambio. Transmission, engine. Pretty simple. That is if you understand Italian. So let's start with the motore. This could get messy. I like to drain the engine oil and transmission oil when they're warm. Not real hot, but warm. In this case, the engine's stone cold. But we're going to be taking the oil pans off anyways and cleaning all this, so it's not going to matter. Normally when we do an oil change, ugh. Whoa, no chunks, that's good. It's not magnetic, but it looks clean. So we like to do the oil change warm because the oil's thinner and you get a lot more out that way. But we're going to get it all out anyways. This car does not have a lot of miles on it. This is still full. We use this to prevent oil from splashing back when it initially hits. It works pretty well. It's just an air conditioning filter. But I think it's getting a little clogged up here. All right. Slippery when oily. Come on. All right. Nice. That's not bad, huh? Look at that. What do we got? Not bad. Standard stuff. A little bit of synchro material, but not bad at all. No crunchies. A few crunchies. Not bad though. We're going to take a look inside there. It shifts good. It feels real good. First gear is a little notchy, but I don't think there's much we can do with that unless we're going to take it all apart and replace the synchronizers. But otherwise, we're looking good. This is going to take a while to drain. So we'll let that drip as much as we can. Then we're going to start on the top, getting things removed. A little later in the video, we're going to show you some things that we're doing with the Corvette transmission. That's coming together pretty nice. Show you how the machine really is supposed to work now. The wet blaster, also our 991 engine is in. Nick did a great job programming the new control units with the PWIS tester. That's working great. Car actually ran and drove. Air conditioning's cold, so that's coming along. We'll show you that in a little while. Yeah, that's it. We're just going to stare at this and watch the oil drain for a little while. You're welcome to join me.
"12 sleepless hours later."
Okay, last drip. We're good to go. We're going to get the drain plugs back in. I'm going to take a couple panels off underneath, and we'll go after the fuel distributor. Oops. Yeah, not this one. Come on. I seriously can't see it. There it is. Okay. So not too bad. Oil looks good. Dark, but no chunks, which is good. All right, we got two catalytic converters. The 308s use temp sensors in the cats. So they have a control module that takes this signal and it puts on a slow down warning light inside the instrument panel. We'll show you that when we get the car down and all that. But they do fail from time to time. Normally it's just a little control box fails. But we put a probe and a control box in it whenever we get a consistent slowdown light when there's no malfunction. Fuel mixture plays a big factor too. If it's really too rich, the cats get really hot and cause problems. So let's see, get the rear valence off here. I know there are bolts there somewhere. Oh yeah. Inconsistent hardware drives me crazy. Look at that. They've got the correct ones and then somebody's stuck in a 6mm. Not cool. I don't know if you can see the bolts in there. I have to get a socket on them, but this part of the bracket is in the way. There's one. I can get. I'll get that one after. Let me get a swivel for that. This little 10mm gets used a lot and gets real floppy, too loose. So I put a little tape around it, and that gives it some flexibility, but it won't just drop when I put it in there. Tip of the day. Okay, there we go. All right. The big reveal. Oh. There it is. And there's the one I dropped. So we'll put these somewhere safe. All right. So the rear muffler has to be disconnected from back here and removed. I hope we can get the rear manifold off in the car. The front manifold, really difficult to get to. Hopefully that'll have clearance to come out with the engine. I know on the GT4 we lay the manifold in, the exhaust manifold, the header in, and then put the engine in, and then lift it up and bolt it to the back of the cylinder head on the exhaust ports. This one, I really can't do that. So hopefully we can maneuver it out with that on. I think we can. But the back one I want to take off. Well, let's go down with the car. We're going to take the fuel distributor out, do a few more things under here, and then we'll show you some more stuff in the shop. Okay, we're going to take all the fuel lines off the fuel distributor. This might look familiar. This is the electrical contact that we talked about on the other fuel distributor to turn on the fuel pump. That's right there. And it gives it, you know, when you put the key on, you get a little fuel, the fuel pump will run for 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. And that just charges the fuel distributor, because it, even though there's still fuel here, it's not under pressure. So with the fuel pump runs a couple seconds before you start it, it just charges everything and gets everything under pressure, so it can start pretty quickly. You notice on your F1 Ferraris where you open the door, it primes the F1 pump to run get the hydraulic pressure up in the accumulator for the transmission. I'm sure you hear that all the time. Yeah. So all the time. So we're just going to take all the fuel lines off. Get them out of the way. There's no fuel pressure here now because we haven't ran this car, and it's cooler in the shop here, so there's a little fuel, but it's not all under pressure. This is the feed and return lines. This is a pressure regulator that maintains pressure in the lower chamber. We're going to put all new seal rings on it, so it's okay if we drop them. Put that back in there so we don't lose it. Any CIS car you have that has the early 911s, they have these polymid pipes. They last just about forever. They're amazing. But if you do get some damaged lines and you need to replace this stuff is available. And there's a tool you can buy. You soak these in really hot water, and the tool grips it, and you can just push it onto the line, onto the little the barbs here on the tube. All these banjo fittings, all these little banjo ends, the threaded fittings are all available online. You can go to, I think it's Coline, who makes the fuel hoses. They also make all these fittings that you can buy. Really nice if you want to update your system or reroute things so it's a little neater. Sometimes, you know, these just don't look real neat. But But you can do all kinds of neat stuff with it. Make your own fuel systems. Now this line it comes from the fuel inlet side, from the inside here. This is fuel pressure right from the fuel pump, and that's for the cold start injector. That injector works through a thermal time valve. If the ambient temperature or the engine temperature isn't below a certain amount, which I forget what it is, but it's got to be pretty cold for this injector to work. Here in Florida, they never activate. Very rarely. Maybe on one of those very cold days it makes me very cranky, so I don't even want to leave the house when it's that cold. Can't get to that one, so let's move. These I'm going to take off and just get them out of the way. And all these seal rings will get replaced. Now in CIS, it doesn't matter what port goes to what cylinder. It doesn't matter. They all spray the same. But as you can see, those are only going to go on one way. And that's perfectly fine. We'll make sure they go right back on the same locations. And that's just to keep everything organized. It has nothing to do with fuel per cylinder. Now I can get this one off. Careful not to damage the sealing surface. Tricky little bugger. And this is the pressure on top of the piston. This line goes over to the warm-up regulator. This one comes back, and this goes right to the return side. There's no pressure here. It's just dumping fuel off through the regulator. So the pressure comes in here on this side, and the regulator governs how much fuel leaves. And the remaining fuel is under pressure, so that regulates the pressure on the top of the valve. And that's for your fuel mixture cold, and then the fuel pressure goes up, or this closes off the fuel going to the return and keeps the pressure high. It makes it go higher above the piston here. And that is what leans out the fuel mixture when the engine gets hot. So, let's take that one off. We'll leave the fuel distributor bolted down, but we're just going to take the lines off. And all these little ends are available. You can see they're just forced onto the barbs. You can't heat these with a flame, but you dip them in boiling water and it softens the plastic enough to push it right on. And then when it cools, it locks on nice and tight. It's a nice little system. Little system. System. I don't think it's a little. Probably a big system, actually, when you think about it. All right, where are we here? Now you look, just get this manifold out of the way. Those will come with the engine. We'll just tie them down so they're not in the way. If you look over here, this is where the fuel mixture adjustment. This is a plug for the fuel injection, fuel mixture adjustment. Just take that out, and down inside this hole is an adjustment screw, and you can adjust the position of the valve in relation to the position of the sensor plate. So as air is being drawn in, say we have the engine idling here, we can now adjust the screw here, which will adjust this the piston up and down, delivering a different amount of fuel flow. It's a very sensitive adjustment, but that's how we can get the fuel mixture right on the money and make the engine run perfectly, provided everything else is okay. We'll be doing a valve adjustment on this, so I'm sure we'll be doing a fuel mixture adjustment as well. All right, that's it for that. Let's get our air intake hose out of the way. The plating is really nice on these. These will clean up nice. If they weren't, we'd be plating them. We have a plating system here for that. Can I get you? Look at these nice original clamps. That's great. Oh, I forgot about this part. Look at this. The bigger Surflex clamps have a tab, so you can wrap it around, hook it in there, and then tighten it. Forgot about that. Pretty clever. Okay. Okay, air hose is in good shape. Kind of yucky inside, but we'll clean that up. And we have a vent tube here. At least with this car, you're going to see this will go back together, unlike just about everything else we've showed you so far. So that's exciting. I'll just do half over here, I think we're good. Oop. Now, what am I missing here? Oh, that's another tube we have here. That's the air intake for the, or is that the discharge? No, that's the air intake for the air pump. I didn't see that because it's kind of dark down there. Come on. Okay. Push. Okay, here we are. So there's our fuel distributor. Yeah. Oops. Easy does it there. So we'll put this in our machine too and clean this up, clean up the sensor plate housing. We'll take all this apart and it'll look like brand new again. The car runs very well. We're not going to have to do anything with the fuel distributor. 25,000 miles, I think, on it, so there's no wear. But we do want to clean it all up and maybe run some cleaner through the distributor. Make sure there's no debris in there. So let's see what else we got in here. We have a big hole, which is good. Now you see here, I don't know if you can see these, we've got one tube for each cylinder. These go through the cover into the exhaust port, and you'll see up front there's 4 more. Those are for putting a gas analyzer on each one. With the engine running, you'll get an exhaust sample, and if this were carbureted, you can adjust the carburetor for each individual cylinder. Each barrel of the carburetor is for one cylinder, and that allows you to tweak each cylinder individually. But in this case, since all the fuel goes in at the same time, you can't adjust it individually, but it'll help you diagnose a problem if you have a cylinder misfire or stuck valve or tight valve or something like that. So it gives you an opportunity to take a snapshot of each cylinder and what it's doing. So that's helpful. So what else do we have to take off here? So it looks like we're going to be able to, we should be able to get this manifold off of the car. It's going to be tricky, but see how it hangs underneath? We'll never get it out with this. Once this is off and we get the air pump off, we can then lift the engine up. It'll move back and then probably rotate back and then out this way. We'll see how that goes when the time comes. So where are we now? We have, the water came from inside there. All right, this is interesting. Yeah, look at the water. That's emulsified oil, but it's not harming anything. This is, look at that. This is water that got into the fuel distributor past the sensor plate, and this went into the air intake for the air pump, where there's some oils and debris from, just from natural occurrence inside that big chamber underneath the fuel distributor. You'll get some oil vapor in there from the crankcase ventilation hose. So that mixed with some of the water that got in there. So we're going to clean all that out. It's possible that happened because water can get in through here and the air cleaner housing wasn't on. It was out in the rain, I think, for one day, and that was enough to put water in the system. So you've got to be careful with that. All right, the mount is broken for this pipe, so we'll get a new mount. What else? We have to drain the coolant. I haven't done that yet. We're going to pull the wheels and go into the wheel wells and remove the air intake hose. This is where it gets the air from the side scoop on this side of the engine. And we'll continue on with that. Now these videos, for this particular car, we're going to try to get a video out maybe 2 a week, maybe more if we can. It's going to be edited by somebody else. Nick is doing the Saturdays, and we're going to be sending videos to our friend in the Philippines, who is going to be doing the editing on this video and some others. Nick will check it out, make sure it's okay, but we're going to be expanding a little bit and doing more videos. And since Nick isn't going to be doing the editing, we get to talk about him a little bit. Should be kind of fun. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to be editing this video, so maybe he knows I'm going to say that. But anyways, not important. So some other things that are going on. This shop is way too small. In the very beginning, the very first video we ever did, we explained our crazy ambitions about building a very large shop. We need 10,000 square feet. We need a paint booth. We need, I want 8 bays, alignment machine. We want all our tire and wheel equipment that we don't have. We want to get that. The ADAS system for calibrating the cameras on the late model cars. All this high-tech stuff that Nick can handle without any problem at all. But we need an investor. We're looking for that. We have to leave this place in less than 2 years. Less than 2 years. We're going to be gone, whether we're in a new building, big building, a small building, or I just go get a job somewhere. I don't know. So I hope you'll come along and watch us as we try to find an investor. In fact, I got a meeting in about 2 weeks. Naples real estate is very expensive. I'm working with the SBA, trying to get something going with that to pull this all together. Very difficult to do. I hope we can do it. I hope you hang out with me while we get this done. Either way, the outcome is going to be not good or very good. One or the other. We'll see how it goes. So we're going to continue on with the next video. It'll be during our weekly work, because this car has to get done. So we're going to document everything we can on this car and send out more videos. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll get some videos out this coming week. I'm going to wash up and I'm going to show you a couple more things. So I'll be right back. All right, so here, I know I've been harping on this machine. I just love this thing so much, even though it's giving me so much trouble. But it's working now. This is what we're going to expect. This is our test piece. Engine bracket on the 944. I know my 944 guys recognize this. That's the outcome I've been looking for. We changed the media. We took out all the fine media and we went to a little coarser. So that's all in there now, and this is the outcome. This looks great. So that's from what used to look like this is now this. So we'll have the capability for doing this. I'm going to run this through the machine, and let's see how long it takes, as well as the top of the front of the cam housing. So, but remember to push all the buttons. We'll be in good shape. More experiments over there. All right, we got air. We got power. We got pump. Don't have glasses. Here we go. Oh. All right, let's see how it goes. All right. My rinsing hose isn't hooked up yet, so I can't rinse this off, but you can see quite a nice difference. It looks just like, oh, I missed the spot. That's okay, but you get the idea. Comes out really nice. With just a little bit more, it'll be perfect. So you notice the whole time I'm shooting it, trying to get a 45-degree angle so the beads hit it and then go off this way rather than just smashing it into it. It does a much better job. So I got to touch that up, but other than that, it's good. One more, quickie. Okay, let's see this. Glasses on here. Okay, check this out. Now this one, you can see it's cleaning, but this has a coating on it. I don't know why, but there is a coating on top of it. Maybe because it's exposed and it's visual. I don't know. They put a coating on it to keep it nice, but it did fade over time. So because this machine isn't really a sand blasting machine for cleaning, it's a finishing machine. So we're taking some of it off here, but it really, this needs to go in a dry blasting machine first and then finished in this machine. But otherwise, we see the results we can get with a nice clean piece. We degreased it as much as we could, and then the machine can handle the rest of it. It just takes its surface and makes it really nice. So this one we'll put in a dry blast machine first, and we'll clean it all up. But really, for experimenting, this is for the 944 project that sort of failed. So, but lots more to do. Fan housing for the 911 turbo we're building, and we'll do the valve covers and whatnot on that. But I won't bore you with this anymore. I thought this was kind of interesting for you to see, that we can make all that work now that it's running. What else is on the agenda? Yeah, so back to the project, our big project for service center, restoration, body shop. We want to fill it with people. We're going to start off with 4 techs, 8 bays, and then get more techs in as we can. Big, ambitious project. We're not sure it's going to work. We need around $6 million to make this work. So good luck. But that's it for this week. Well, this Saturday, we'll see you more during the week, I think, if we can get all these videos in order. I don't know how many we'll get out, hopefully 1 or 2. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. A lot of good stuff coming. We appreciate your support. Thank you.